Hey, welcome to the Dreway. I'm glad you're here. Let me tell you something right now. We have explosive shows happening over the next couple of weeks, so please hit the subscribe button because there's a new Dreway each and every day. But I don't want to keep just talking. I want to get started with the show, so let's get started. Let's go! Hey, welcome to the Dreway. I'm glad you're here. You know, the thing I want to talk about today, and I want everyone to understand, is because I get a lot of comments and questions all throughout the day. I've been in the real estate game for over 40 years. And one thing I know about real estate is it's very cyclical. But every time it goes up, everybody thinks that's the only direction real estate goes. Everybody seems to think real estate only goes up, and that's simply not the case. Especially in times like these when we had basically a bubble created by very low interest rates and a pandemic. And it caused a migration that we've never really seen before in the United States. Not like this. And now that migration has ended. In fact, in many cases, it's reversing. A lot of people are actually moving out of Florida, out of Texas, out of the South. And because of that, real estate in those areas is transforming in a major way. But it's just not because of migration. It's also because of this administration's policies. This administration is going to greatly affect Texas and Florida because a lot of the population in Texas and Florida is immigrants. And a lot of the work that is done in Texas and Florida is by immigrants. So here we have an administration that is going after them and telling them, hey, look, you need to leave, you need to go. And you have to understand, we're talking about hundreds of thousands of people. And they live somewhere. Think about this. They live somewhere, don't they? They live in houses and apartments and and now they're being immediately, within a few months, get out, leave, you got to go now. That's what's going on with this administration. You guys got to get out. You guys got to go. I have a buddy down in Florida right now. He said, Drayton, the 3 houses next to me in a week like that, they left. And now those houses are sitting abandoned. All 3 of them right next to me. And he goes, when you go down the street, there's 2 more and another one and another one. He goes, how's that going to work? And I said, it's not. It's not going to work. What it's going to mean is there's going to be more and more and more inventory, especially in places like Texas and Florida. And they're going to continue to suffer, and there's going to be a complete economic breakdown. And there's going to be a complete economic breakdown because who's now traveling to the United States? When word has gotten out, when other countries are telling you, other countries are saying, the United States may not be the place you want to go to right now. The United States may not be safe. So when you start taking away tourism in Florida, in Texas, in California, and stuff like Tennessee, you start taking away tourism, billions of dollars going away. And what do you think is going to happen? Because if you're down in Florida and you live, your livelihood is based on tourism and it goes down by 10, 20, 30%, how are you supposed to survive? So it's a continuum. It's a continuous, it gets worse and worse and worse. And that is what's going on in Florida right now, and Texas, and Louisiana, and Tennessee, but especially in Texas and Florida. And that's why what you're seeing in real time happen in Florida is a complete economic breakdown. Yeah, that's how bad it is. And it's only going to get worse. You got to remember, sometimes we forget this administration's only been in office a little over 2 months. Can you imagine the damage over the next, I don't know, 6 to 12 months? When you've got hundreds of thousands of people leaving a state, leaving apartments, leaving housing, just going. And now all those buildings, there's already in Florida almost 180,000 available. And now that you have hundreds of thousands of more people leaving, what's that going to do to inventory now? So when people ask me, why are you so negative on real estate? Because you should be. There are not many places where it makes sense to buy. There's not many situations where it's a good idea to catch a falling knife. And right now, real estate in many areas, particularly in the South, is like catching a falling knife. Let it fall. Let it fall. I keep telling people all the time, I'm going to Florida, what should I do? Rent and negotiate. There's plenty of places to rent in Florida. There's tons now. There is tons of places to rent. And it's a lot cheaper than buying in Florida. A lot cheaper. Because people are finding out, my HOA fees, my insurance fees, my taxes, my house payment. It's just one thing after another, after another. And then what about my repairs? Yeah. So do I think the real estate is a good investment? In most cases, no. Buying a house right now is a bad investment, especially if you're in those states, Texas, Louisiana, Tennessee, Florida. It's just a down market, and it's going to continue downward because insurance costs continue to go up. Costs continue to go up just to own a house. And then if you have a repair, yeah, it could set you back permanently. But welcome to the Dreway. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. But real estate as an investment for the next 15, 20 years, yeah, I say no bueno. Let me know what you say. Put it in the comments. Thanks for stopping by. We got more Dreway coming up. Stay right there. I get a lot of comments. A lot of people write to me and they ask me, because I'm single and I'm 61 years old. And a lot of women and men write to me and they're like, how do you stay busy? What do you focus on? What do you do as an older man? And they just want to know what I do and why I do it and how I do it. And my answer to everyone, because there's probably now today, there are more single people over 50 than ever before, by far. By far. And that's one of the reasons that I do social media, is to be in contact with people around my age, whether they be a little younger, a little older, some are much younger. But I just want to be in contact with people, because what happens as we get older, our circle often gets smaller. And I don't want that to happen. First of all, I feed off of people. I mean, I love the energy. And it's amazing how everyone brings something to the table. They don't always realize it, but we all have experiences. We all have something that we can share. And that's probably one of the most fun things about meeting new people, is getting that out of them. Because everybody seems to have like this hidden talent. They all seem to have this hidden talent or information. And that's one of the things about meeting new people, is discovering that. And I'll give you a perfect example. I was talking with somebody, and I've known this person now for about 4 years. And the other day we were having just a conversation, just talking about stuff. And all of a sudden it came up that this person does pottery. And I'm like, what? What do you mean you do pottery? He goes, "Oh yeah, I'm pretty good on the clay wheel." You're pretty good on the clay wheel. Are you serious? And they're like, yeah, you want to see some of my stuff? I'm like, yeah. How do you have this talent? This ability to make pot, to do something like that. I've always watched people, create stuff from that wheel, and it's like magic. It's like, why? I don't know if you're impressed by it, but I certainly am. But to have one of your friends go, "Oh yeah, I've been doing that for years." I'm like, where'd that come from? Because now I have, all kinds of questions. There are all kinds of, and that's what I mean. That's the hidden beauty of people and the joy you can get out of finding things out like that. Because we had another, show me his entire collection and stuff, and it was absolutely amazing. And now the whole family's in on it, and they all enjoy doing it. And I'm like, wow, what a family activity. You never think of that as a family activity, but wow. And that's what I'm talking about. We all have something to add. We all have those little talents. And taking time out to discover those is it's what makes life enjoyable. So my advice to many of you would be to continue to increase your circle, continue to talk to others, and really listen and really find out what makes them tick. Because what makes me tick, I love cooking now. I love picking people's ideas because everybody's got a good recipe. That's one thing that's fascinating, is everybody has a good recipe. And before you know it, if you steal enough of them, you got a nice cookbook if you steal enough of them like I do. But yeah, cooking, the gym, being fit. I'm now into this walking thing. It's hurting my feet a little bit, but I'm now trying to consistently do 15,000 steps. And now that the weather's getting better, I think I'm going to be able to do it. But let me know in the comments. I can't wait to see that. I want to know what your talent is. I mean, can you sing? Can you dance? Do you do art? Let me know what it is. I really want to know. And it's always interesting. So put a comment down. Let me know what your talent is, and don't go anywhere. I have a final thought. Stay right there. In my final thought today, my final thought is this week is going to be an important week. This is going to be an important week because the Trump administration by federal courts have been pushing back against Trump. And they've been pushing back because the things that he does are unlawful. They don't follow our Constitution. And Trump doesn't seem to really care about that. He seems to want to do what he wants to do, how he wants to do it. And we have this pesky thing called, the law and the Constitution. And he seems to not bother if he violates it. And the people around him seem to feel emboldened to do the same thing because they see their leader, there's no repercussions for anything he does. He is, what's the old expression? Teflon Don. And he's called Teflon Don because you can't put a scratch on him. And that's how Donald Trump feels right now. And this week, there's going to be, the Supreme Court's going to be put to the test. The Supreme Court has to stand up and be like, that's not the country we are. Because the administration is going to go to the Supreme Court and say, the federal court said this, the federal court said I can't do that, the federal court, but you'll say I can, right? That's what this week is about. This week is about him trying to go over all the federal judges. I don't have to listen to them. I'm going to go to my Supreme Court. My Supreme Court. And I hope, because the Supreme Court is the last chance we have of having any resemblance of what the United States used to be. Because this administration has absolutely ruined, in 2 months, everything I thought America was all about. Yeah, it's been shredded. It's been taken apart. this whole thing of, let me ask you one question. In all sincerity, let me ask you one question. Do you really believe justice is blind and justice is done blindly for all the same way and that no one is above the law? Do you really believe that anymore? Because I don't. I certainly don't. Because after watching Donald Trump do what he has done, do I believe someone's above the law? Yes, he is. And he's demonstrating it. And he's proven it. And he shows it. Here's a guy that, has been found guilty in a federal court and can't touch him. Can't touch him. So is anybody above the law? I think so. Let me know what you think in the comments. Let me know. Do you believe no one's above the law anymore? Do you really believe that? Let me know in the comments. And thanks for joining me on the Dreway. Please hit the subscribe button. You guys have me over 35,000 and I'm on my way to 40,000. I can't thank you enough. Hit the subscribe button and remember, there's a new Dreway each and every day. I hope to see you again tomorrow. Have a great day, everybody. We'll see you later.